February 27th, and this is Amateur Hour, brought to you by the MountCast. And I'm Ryne Poley. With me is Leo Saylor.
That's me.
Fine and dandy with the flamingo shirt today. Looking extra classy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And next to me over here is Safwan Alvi. Your favorite, what is that?
Your favorite brown guy. What's goody?
And producer Ryan, always here with the vocals.
Of course.
Looking good as always.
All right, so first on the agenda today is, we're going to talk about the sing-off first on Thursday between two of our very own from the MountCast. What was the bet that happened?
It's fine. Or like they were talking about open mic night or karaoke night or whatever, and I said, why don't you guys sing on the next podcast? They said, if this gets 50 views, we'll do it.
50 whole views, and I heard we had a bunch of people just reviewing the video over and over again to get that to 50.
May or may not have been me.
Why don't you sing for us, Leo? I heard you have some golden pipes.
I for sure sang the Hokey Pokey and danced the Hokey Pokey last week on Amateur Hour.
That's a child song, though. I mean, what does that do for anybody?
I think that makes it even more legitimate.
It makes us child-friendly.
Exactly. Available for all audiences. We are Amateur Hour, are we not?
True.
We're all looking forward to Sydney and Morgan singing, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Right, so on the first team for conference this year, Eric Edwards and Andrew made the first team. Yeah, it's big news.
It is.
Each of them got to 1,000 points this year for their career at Mount St. Joe. That's a lot. It's a lot of points.
It's a great accomplishment, especially for them and the university. It gets them notoriety for themselves. They can reflect on that as they grow up, and it's something to be proud of.
It's a nice resume builder.
It is, yeah, for sure.
It's been a great year for those two.
Yeah, and
keep up the good work.
Eric had over 600 rebounds also, so 1,000 points and 600 rebounds, kind of impressive.
Versatility right there.
It's a poor man's Kevin Love.
While being a math major too.
Yeah.
I can do like math by itself. I can do science by itself, like biology. I can't do chemistry. That's the one thing I can't do.
So moving on into the world of sports, the big story that has taken over sports is the scandal and going on in NCAA.
That's right.
All of these payments, all of these big name schools, big name players, big name programs. It's just the NCAA is in turmoil right now. What do you think, Ron?
I'm not a big fan of the NCAA in general. Like LeBron said, and first and foremost, it's corrupt. Like everything from the front office down is just corrupt. But I think like paying these players, like it should be like almost mandatory at this point because it's like paying a mortgage on your house. Like it's a financial investment. Like these guys are gonna make millions, possibly billions. LeBron James, billions of dollars after they get out of college. And like the education is great by itself. Don't get me wrong. Like after their NBA career is over, they're going to go on to new jobs. They can't just retire unless they, like, you know, they're top-bred athletes. But, like, at the same time, these guys are not, like, amateurs anymore, like Amateur Hour ourselves. These are professional athletes that are, like, 18 years old. Like, LeBron James is a prodigy. He shouldn't have had to, like, go through any of that, and he didn't. But, like, they made the rule you have to go to college for a year or so, or a year or two. That shouldn't be in place.
Out of high school for 1 year. LeVar Ball would correct you on that.
Whatever. LeVar Ball can have his... That's another thing, though. Like, with all this scandal going on, the more players are going to go get paid to play overseas or at big baller basketball. You know, their own league.
And, you know, it's really interesting. It actually happened in hockey a few years ago. Now we're seeing it with a couple players going over to Lithuania. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. The Ball family? Yeah. But point is, they're going overseas and they're making money to do their craft, as well as that's what's making them draft eligible, because you do have to be out of high school for 1 year before you're draft eligible. You don't have to go to college for a year, just out of high school, as well as you're proving something. There's something to be said for, even if the talent isn't the same over there as it might be in the higher tier NCAA schools, you are also playing against men. Mm-hmm. And that's totally different than playing against fellow college athletes. Not that there's not talent there, but playing against men is different.
It really is. I mean, those guys over there are, what, like 7'8", 200 pounds. Like, little Angelo Ball isn't going to, like, dunk all over everybody. It's still like basketball.
It is. And it's something that I think people have kind of laughed about, but in reality, I think it is a notable option for players who aren't interested in spending the money to go to college and not getting that return on investment.
The only thing that I think is kind of a joke about it is that they made the Big Baller Brand Challenge in Lithuania, so the Lithuanian teams are playing this challenge for Big Baller Brand. It's almost it's taken away from the Lithuanian league more than anything, in my opinion.
It's just nice publicity, really.
Yeah, it's generating revenue for the Lithuanian league, and not that they're trying to compete with the NBA, because obviously they're not. But with that said, generating that revenue would be vital to keeping their brand alive. And potentially, maybe the thought process is maybe we can create kind of a, I don't want to say alliance with the Big Baller Brand, so that maybe the Lithuanian League becomes what Big Brother brand is envisioning for their league that goes in between high school and college.
Well, let's be honest. Before the balls went over there, no one here knew that Lithuania had a basketball league. So,
No.
from a marketing perspective, that's probably a success there.
Yeah, if they can turn it into the league that LeVar's envisioning, I think they'd be all for that. That would generate all types of revenue.
And there's so many different aspects that go into this. There's some situations that are extreme, some situations that aren't. You have like Kevin Knox from Kentucky, who apparently he just got a meal paid for him.
Right.
And they're looking into him. But then there's more drastic things like Colin Sexton from Alabama and DeAndre Ayton. That's the big one. Sean Miller and DeAndre Ayton getting $100,000.
Yeah, he had to set up a
Allegedly.
game because like of all the tension that's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And DeAndre Ayton is also a big deal because he's more than likely going to be the number one pick in the draft. He's an absolute superstar. So, these situations are so different. The coaches, the players, the agents, Andy Miller, the big guy who's involved in all of this corruption. So, NCAA is really feeling the effects right now. Players and coaches from
I
the
just got a
big name
report
schools.
from Cincinnati.com that says Miller's going to be with Arizona and could learn his fate soon. So he could be even fired over this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's looking at bigger things than fired. If it's true that he's on the phone with someone for out of state, that violates interstate commerce laws, and he could go to federal prison for that.
Yeah, these are actual law. This is not just NCAA. We're talking about federal prison here.
Wow.
You're breaking actual state and country laws.
That just calls for an amendment to the rules. Like at the end of the day, like if kids are, I'm thinking like at least half of these kids are making some kind of money from an outside source.
Oh, yeah,
I
without a
wouldn't
doubt.
doubt it, yeah.
I think the overarching question, there's two parts to this question. So I want to get you guys' input on the first one, and then I want to ask you the second one. Should athletes be paid by their university to play?
If the NCAA itself makes money off these kids, and so do the schools, based on like how much media coverage they get, blah blah blah, all these contracts and like endorsements. If they're making money, why shouldn't the kids make a little side cash like on the way too?
You're saying they should be paid, Safwan?
I believe they should be compensated. I don't think they should be making millions and millions of dollars.
Right,
But
like-
they should be compensated a little bit for the revenue that they're generating for their
I
universities.
gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it only seems fair, even if it's a couple meals, like a stipend, something to compensate them for their work. But you'd said the NCAA is making money. Would you envision like some kind of union among the NCAA that pays the players, or do you think the individual schools should pay the players?
The school should.
Now, let me pose this question. So it sounds like you guys are pretty much in somewhat of agreement that the players should be paid to play. My personal opinion, players should not be paid to play, but they should be able to make money off of their own brand. Meaning, if
Yeah,
they want to
I
go
agree
out
with
and
that.
they want to sign a jersey
Mhm.
and sell that, they should be able to do that. They have worked to build their own brand. The reason, if I go ahead and customize some form of sports jersey,
Like you usually do.
correct, with my name on it, and I sign it, and I try and sell it on eBay, is it going to sell? No, nobody wants that. My brand has no value at this point in time. However, with that
Say
said,
like Zion Williamson. like,
exactly,
makes a
Zion
jersey,
Williamson goes big next year, right? He has a jersey. Perhaps it's game used. Perhaps it's just stock off the team store, whatever. He signs it. It has value because he has worked hard and he's a talented individual. Therefore, he's created his own brand, and he should be able to profit off of that.
Yeah, I definitely see, Leo, where you're coming from because they already get free tuition. They already get free room and board. They have a lot of extra things, free tutors, all of the best tutors.
Yeah, what's a few extra snacks, you know?
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
but I agree. Like, if it's your brand, you should be able to make money off of your specific brand.
That's what I'm saying, Brooksy.
Stop saying that. We're not going back to that.
I don't think we really need explanation. It's kind of a drawn-out process most of you might not care about, but that's what I'm saying, Brooksy, is a quote that I've been using with Ryne a lot lately, and I think he might be getting fed up about it.
We went to the Blue Jackets game this
We
Saturday,
did.
which they won in very nice fashion, by the way. 3-2 against the Blackhawks.
Blast of a game to go to.
Yeah, I wore a purple jersey, thank you, Leo, because I went to Elder. It was nice to wear a purple again.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, he had the audacity to wear the Blue Jackets jersey I gave him, so the home team, the team we want to win, and a Cubs hat. Now, are we at a Cubs game? No. But they are playing the Chicago Blackhawks.
I was neutral. I was like Sweden, dude. I was cheering for both sides.
You can't have it both ways.
It looked like a C for Columbus, you know what I mean? It was
It
blue
did
and
not.
red.
I think that's a pretty iconic logo. And it was pretty funny after the game, you know, all the Blackhawks fans are salty and all that, and, you know, I'm maybe giving a couple jeers here and there.
It didn't help that I was singing Go Cubs Go outside the
Yeah,
stadium.
that was my problem with it. And everyone's like, yeah, I love this guy. And he had a coat on, and I immediately spin Ryne around, and he is a little flannel and kind of expose. He's wearing a Blue Jackets jersey and just want to expose him, make it known that he's a fraud, and he's nothing like Sweden.
Just allegations.
He's not neutral. He's just neither.
They're just allegations.
Allegations, like Patrick Kane, am I right?
Right.
Just allegations.
All right, what's next?
And now moving on to football, Blake Bortles, quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, just got a new deal, 3 years, $54 million.
It's a pretty penny.
Jacksonville, why?
It seems like Jacksonville settled, but if you look at it, they're really not paying him that much in terms of quarterbacks.
Right.
When you see how much Matthew Stafford and Jimmy Garoppolo and Derek Carr.
And Garoppolo's thrown not even that many touchdowns.
These guys are making so much money, and Blake is making a good amount of money, but it's not that bad of a deal if you look at it from other quarterbacks, other top-paid quarterbacks. So it's a lot because Blake Bortles has been so bad throughout his career.
Right.
That's why.
I saw a stat. He's thrown the 6th most touchdowns in his first few seasons in an NFL career. That's not horrible. He's got room to improve. Don't get me wrong, but he's a good not franchise quarterback, but he's someone. He just beat the Steelers last year in one of the big playoff games. He put up 48 points or something.
And I don't winning games shouldn't be the overall measure of your success.
Oh, it should be, absolutely.
No, winning games.
Yes,
No, winning games should
win
not
games
be
for your team. Look at Russell Wilson. He's not a great fantasy quarterback by any means, but he wins games. He's in the playoffs.
He's a different breed. Russell Wilson is guys like Robert Griffin III won games. Tim Tebow won games.
Tim Tebow is a great leader.
He's a great leader, but he's a garbage quarterback. He cannot play the position of quarterback well.
He won a playoff game.
He can play out.
It should be your pass accuracy. It should be when things get bad, how do you respond?
That's just looking at the fine details.
That's if you look at Aaron Rodgers' football team. Without Aaron Rodgers, they're as good as the Cleveland Browns. I don't know if anybody saw when the Browns and Packers played in, I think, week 15, week 16. It took them overtime to beat the Browns. And you look at it, people who don't know much from football, you're like, oh, these two teams are kind of even when you looked at the Packers and the Browns. But when Aaron Rodgers plays, they win by at least 3 touchdowns.
So you're comparing Aaron Rodgers to Blake Bortles?
No, I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing Aaron Rodgers to Blake Bortles. But what I'm saying is, you can't just say, oh, he made it to the AFC Championship game. You got to give him money. Mark Sanchez made it to 2 straight AFC Championship games.
And he's a garbage quarterback.
And he's garbage. So you got to look
the team
at.
around him was good. The Jags are good. They have a great run offense. Leonard Fournette ran over everybody as a rookie.
They got a top 2 defense and a great running game. They did settle for Blake Bortles, but I don't think it's the worst deal in the world because they didn't pay him that much
quarterbacks out there right now in the first place. So
That's true.
Just get something in signing. Make sure you have a decent near future.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at some of Blake Bortles' stats, and I tell you what, these are really impressive. I was yet to really realize these. Think about this for a second. Blake Bortles is undefeated in 194 countries.
That's impressive.
He also hasn't won any games in 194 countries.
That doesn't change these undefeated. My next Blake Bortles fact, which I think is really important to note, as this really does speak to his success. Blake Bortles and Tom Brady are combined for 5 NFL Super Bowl championships.
Wow. He's an elite category, isn't he?
That's really spectacular, especially considering Brady has 5 of his own championships.
Yeah.
Also, another one I saw the other day, Blake Bortles has never lost anything. He's never, won under gold in the Olympics.
Yeah, that's
Fun
true.
fact, yeah.
Yeah. It really is.
He's like the Michael Phelps of football.
Basically. And apparently he's just as good as Tom as well.
Yeah. He beat the Buffalo Bills in a 9-10 game at home. Blake Bortles, we all know, is not.
Yeah,
is
but
not
he also
a good
beat the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger. So, yin and yang.
Yin and yang. That's the one you're going to roll with here. All right.
You take the bad with the good,
We do.
Except when you're Andy Dalton, then we just, want to kick him out of the league.
And we don't take the bad with the good because there is no good. We just take the bad.
Yeah.
I'm about to say we don't like Andy Dalton, but I would 10 times out of 10 take Andy Dalton over Blake Bortles.
Over Blake Bortles, yeah.
Yes. Well, obviously I'm not saying Andy Dalton isn't Rodgers kind of. I'm just saying Blake Bortles, Andy Dalton. I'm taking Andy Dalton 10 times out of 10.
All right, if you say so. We'll see. We'll see how those playoff performances come along throughout his career, whether that's with the Bengals or not.
Yeah.
Tweet us in. Do you think he'll stick around for much longer with the Bengals? Tweet us in, guys.
As long as Mike Brown is the owner, Andy Dalton and Marvin Lewis are guaranteed contracts. Good. Let's go to the NBA. The Rockets now have the best record in the NBA. They're the hottest team right now. They have 13 straight wins.
Main question is, are they for real?
That's the thing. Are they for real? Can they beat the Warriors in a 7-game series?
I think absolutely not. They can. I don't see them beating the Warriors. I don't see more than 5-6 games of that series.
Man, it depends. The Cavs did it.
They won at least one game. I mean, the Cavs have won at least
Did it a
one
few years
game.
ago, completely different team, but like they still did it. Like teams can beat the Warriors. It's just like it's kind of hard to.
Well,
beat a
that's the
team.
Kevin Durant
It's
list.
the Kevin
Warriors.
Durant effect. It's the snake effect.
Kevin Durant plays like he's been playing. I don't see any team taking the Warriors more than 5 or 6 at max.
That's like the whole move with Kevin Durant just like
Yeah.
depresses me because like he tried to do what LeBron did. Like, oh, I went to this team for so long and now I'm doing the whole college thing. He didn't. He already joined a super team. You didn't make a super team. You like he said like a week ago, like, oh, people are trying to find reasons to hate us all you want, like whatever, criticize us. I am gonna criticize you because that was the lowest move I've ever seen a superstar make in this league.
Yeah, the Suns, the Rockets are getting compared to the mid-2000s Suns teams with Steve Nash and Leandro Barbosa.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely effective offense in
Not many rings or any rings at all.
Yeah, very in a subpar average defense. And that's what the Rockets are being compared to. I think the Rockets defense is a little bit better, as well as their offense is on pace to be the greatest offense in the history of the league. But what I've seen from James Harden and Chris Paul in the playoffs, Chris Paul usually performs well. James Harden usually doesn't.
But I mean,
and if James Harden is not going, the Rockets are not going anywhere.
We haven't seen them together in the playoffs yet, so we'll see when like the tempo rises, like how they play together.
Yeah,
I think there's an X factor that we're overlooking here, guys, for the Houston Rockets. Will they or will they not bring back Yao Ming?
How old is he? Like 50?
I couldn't tell you.
He was like 7'6".
I mean, he's a threat in the post. However old he is, he's what 7'4".
Yeah.
Catch it, keep it up, and play it in.
Yeah, Yao Ming, #1 pick.
What a legend.
Out of China in 2002, if I'm not mistaken.
Like
But yeah, I don't see the Rockets giving the Warriors much of a competition. Honestly, I think 6 games at the absolute max. But
This
I
might be
wouldn't
like
see
the old
Warriors.
Chris Paul teams when they make it to the Western Conference Finals and just like piss their leg and lose like a 3-1 series again.
Also, another team that we think is going to contend, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think we're realizing that we kind of overhyped their new team. We realize that they're not any closer to beating the Warriors than they were before getting Isaiah Thomas. These guys, they're average players. They're C+, B- players. I mean, we like George Hill, we like Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson's a nice spark off the bench, but they're not any closer to beating the Warriors than they were before.
You still can't count out the LeBron James effect. Look at the team he brought to the finals in his first year in the playoffs.
No. I think they'll get to the finals,
Right.
but they're not. There's no way they're beating the Warriors with
Just
this
depends
team.
who's hot.
Jordan Clarkson can get hot, but I mean, just seeing like this team still struggles to play defense. Not as bad. They're a little bit better than what they were, but they were so bad before that I just don't. They're still not a championship winning team.
I think it's a mixed bag. Seeing them even coming out of the East is a question mark, and the East is, as we know, for sure.
Yeah, we saw them win a few games in a row. We're like, oh man, this team can compete with the Warriors.
Yeah.
No, this team was never being able to. They'll maybe win a game or two.
I mean, the Warriors are the best team in the NBA, like ever, by far, in my opinion.
Exactly.
It's kind of hard to just compete.
They're the
with them
bar.
in
The
first place.
Warriors are the bar, and everybody else is
It's
measured
like
to how
Ford.
close they
It's
can be.
It's like the Ford commercials. We don't raise the par bow. We are the bar.
We are the bar.
Are you saying the current Warriors are better than the 90s Bulls?
Yes.
Yes, I would say the Warriors are better than the 90s Bulls, yes. There's just way too much shooting. There's just way too
Well,
much
when you
that
look
goes
at
into
it,
the Warriors.
when Jordan left the Bulls to play baseball for a few years, that's why baseball is the best sport of all time, just saying.
He also
But
had like
what-
220 average, but in
In
double
double
A.
A.
Still, off topic there, but I'm
So
just saying.
even the best athletes in the world can't hit a curveball, right?
Yeah, bingo. So when Jordan left for those two years, the Bulls' record dropped like 30 games. Like they were a really good team. Don't get me wrong. They had their spot up shooters that could play really good defense. They had Scottie Pippen, who's a Hall of Famer and everything. But Jordan made everybody around him better. That's the LeBron James effect too.
No, that's what makes a great player great.
Yeah.
Take Steph out of the Warriors.
Then they still have Durant and Draymond and Clay, and they're really good.
But many
Then
people
they're no better
believe
than
without
bench.
Steph Curry, they wouldn't be. Steph Curry is what holds the Warriors together.
Yeah, but they'd
No way.
still be a finals team.
They would be, but they would be no better than OKC was when Kevin Durant was there. Because then Kevin Durant's your X factor, and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he is an X factor. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
he
saying.
is. He
That's why
is.
he's a snake.
But he's even better because he doesn't have to be the X factor.
He doesn't have to be the
Warriors.
leader.
That's Steph.
He doesn't.
And I
Steph
think
is the
he's
leader,
shown
the
he's
X
not.
factor.
It's kind
That's
of
okay.
It's kind of easy when you're playing with two Hall of Fame players on the same team that are that caliber.
Agreed.
So, barring anything crazy, the Warriors will more than likely win their 3rd championship in 4 years, and will be in the heart of their dynasty.
It's ridiculous.
We shall see. Real quick before we go, that just made me think. there's a real good chance the Stanley Cup is going to return to Pittsburgh for the third straight year. Their center depth is incredible. I don't know how many of you guys are hockey fans. They've got arguably the best player in the world, probably top 5 player in the world, and another guy who would be some team's best player.
Phil Kessel.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Kessel. And in addition to that, they also picked up Derek Brassard, who is a really great player, former number 8 overall pick, and they're a force to be reckoned with. It would be really interesting. I don't know the last time we saw a pro sports team three-peat. It would be something really cool to see.
Closest thing was Alabama back when they won 2 straight championships, but they lost.
Yeah, that's
the year
true.
after that. That's been the closest thing. That's the dynasty that we're in right now. It's the Alabama dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Past 6-7 years, they have like 4-5 championships.
But have you seen the stat where every time Nick Saban in Alabama wins a championship, LeBron wins the finals?
Yeah, I have seen that.
Wow,
Every single time.
I thought it was just the NBA was rigged. Apparently, it's the entire sports world. That's why the Reds are always bad.
So maybe there is a chance for LeBron this year if history repeats
I'm praying,
itself.
man. I pray everything for LeBron. He deserves the world and then some.
But we'll see
I
what
think he already
we'll see what
has the
happens.
world. A lifetime contract with Nike?
Yeah.
That isn't the world. Money isn't everything, Leo.
Yeah, you're right. You caught me. Anything else?
Very boring sports week.
Yeah, very much so. But I think, despite it being boring, I think we kind of made it, jazzed it up a little
As
bit.
exciting
Yeah.
as we could, really.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we do here at Amateur Hour. We'll catch you next week, boys.
Toodles.
Appreciate it.